Hey everyone, welcome back to Wheel Reverend, the channel where we break down the bikes you love, the bikes you dream of, and the bikes that push the boundaries of what's possible on two wheels. Today, we're diving deep into a motorcycle that roars with classic muscle and modern refinement, the 2025 Kawasaki Vulcan 2000. If you're into cruisers that blend brute torque with timeless styling and a road presence that turns heads for miles, this is one you'll want to stick around for. So, let's fire it up. First, a little backstory. The Vulcan series has been Kawasaki's signature cruiser lineup since the mid-1980s, but when they first dropped the Vulcan 2000 back in the early 2000s, it was a game-changer. Riders were blown away by the sheer size of its engine, a 2,053cc V-twin, one of the biggest production V-twins at the time. Fast forward to 2025, and Kawasaki has brought the Vulcan 2000 roaring back with modern upgrades while staying true to that raw muscle DNA that made it legendary. Let's talk about that heart at the engine. At the core of the Vulcan 2000 is still that massive 2,053cc fuel-injected, liquid-cooled V-twin. This beast churns out an impressive torque curve, peaking at around 141 pounds-feet at just 2,800 revolutions per minute. That means you get monstrous low and grunty, exactly what you want when you roll on the throttle at a stoplight or cruise down the highway with a passenger and fully loaded saddlebags. For 2025, Kawasaki refined the injection mapping and cooling system, making it run smoother and cooler even in stop-and-go traffic, which big air-cooled cruisers sometimes struggle with. Throttle response is noticeably crisper than the previous generation, thanks to updated EQ tuning. The 5-speed transmission remains old-school but robust, feeding that torque to the massive belt final drive. The clutch pull has also been made lighter, which long-haul riders will appreciate, especially in city traffic. Now, one of the big talking points with the Vulcan 2000 has always been its massive physical presence. And trust me, the 2025 version doesn't shy away from that reputation. At over 8.5 feet long with a 68-inch wheelbase, this is a big bike for riders who like to stretch out and command the road. Kawasaki has slightly tweaked the frame geometry for better low-speed maneuverability. It's still a heavyweight, tipping the scales at around 880 pounds wet, but once you're rolling, that bulk fades away thanks to that mountain of torque. Suspension has gotten a modern update too. Up front, you'll find a beefy 49mm telescopic fork, and at the back, a preload adjustable rear shock with rebound damping helps soak up bumps better than before. It's not a sport bike, obviously, but for a cruiser, the Vulcan 2000 handles surprisingly well, staying planted in sweeping corners and stable on the highway even when you're too up with luggage. Speaking of comfort, the seat is one of the highlights. Kawasaki listened to rider feedback and redesigned the saddle for 2025. It's wider and plushier, with a new foam density that strikes a nice balance between support and long-haul comfort. The rider's triangle, that's the relationships between the seat, bars, and pegs, is roomy, perfect for taller riders. The wide handlebars give you that classic cruiser posture, and floorboards come standard, adding to the laid-back vibe. Design-wise, Kawasaki really nailed the retro-modern blend. The Vulcan 2000 looks like pure classic muscle at first glance, but a closer look reveals subtle modern touches. The massive teardrop fuel tank holds over 5 gallons, giving you solid range for touring. The tank still proudly wears the classic Vulcan badging, but now you'll notice LED lighting all around day from the headlamp to the turn signals and brake light. They're brighter, more efficient, and lend a slightly modern edge without ruining the old-school vibe. The fenders are steel, not cheap plastic, and that matters for cruiser enthusiasts. Chrome is abundant but tastefully done, accentuating the engine's cooling fins, exhaust pipes, and trim pieces. The twin staggered pipes are an artwork in themselves, delivering that deep, signature V-twin rumble that announces your presence long before you appear. And yes, It sounds glorious. Kawasaki includes a stock exhaust that's well-tuned but still rode legally if you want it louder. There's a full lineup of aftermarket slip-ons ready to make it bark. Instrumentation is classic analog with a modern twist. The tank-mounted cluster combines a large, easy-to-read speedometer with a small LCD display that shows your gear position, fuel level, trip meters, and clock. It's simple, uncluttered, and exactly what cruiser riders prefer. All the info you need, nothing you don't. Let's talk brakes, because stopping a bike this big requires some serious hardware. The Vulcan 2000 sports dual 300mm front discs with 4-piston calipers and a single 320mm disc at the rear. ABS comes standard, a welcome addition for 2025, giving riders peace of mind, especially in wet conditions or when carrying a passenger. Another point to note is the wheel setup. Kawasaki went with a classic 16-inch front and 16-inch rear wheel combo, wrapped in fat, wide tires that not only look the part but add stability and grip. The spoke wheels have been replaced with cast alloy for easier maintenance and a slightly more modern touch. So, what makes the 2025 Vulcan 2000 stand out in today's cruiser market? In a world where many manufacturers are downsizing or moving toward liquid-cooled, smaller displacement bikes for emissions reasons, Kawasaki doubled down on delivering one of the largest V-twin engines you can buy. Riders who want that visceral feel of raw displacement and an engine that trembles like a thunderstorm will find it here, without sacrificing rideability or modern comfort. And then there's the customization factor. Kawasaki knows Vulcan owners love to make their bikes their own, so they've got an extensive line of factory accessories. Think windshields, saddlebags, backrests, highway bars. It's all available straight from the dealer. And the aftermarket scene for the Vulcan 2000 is huge, meaning there's no shortage of ways to personalize this beast. Fuel economy isn't exactly its main selling point, but owners can expect an average of about 35–40 miles per gallon if you're easy on the throttle. But let's be real, nobody buys a Vulcan 2000 for hypermiling. You buy it because every ride feels like you're piloting a locomotive down the open road. Alright, let's get down to brass tacks. The price. The 2025 Kawasaki Vulcan 2000 starts at around $18,999, depending on the trim and accessories. You can easily push that into the mid-20s if you go for the touring package with factory bags, passenger backrest, and premium paint options. Compared to its rivals like the Harley-Davidson Road King or the Indian Chief, the Vulcan 2000 comes in competitively priced for the sheer amount of torque and presence you're getting. In a world where many big cruisers lean more into tech-heavy features, Kawasaki kept it refreshingly straightforward. You won't find a huge TFT screen or radar cruise control here, but that's exactly the point. The Vulcan 2000 is for riders who want the ride to be about the ride, not fiddling with modes and menace. It's visceral, it's raw, and yet it's comfortable and reliable. So, who's the 2025 Vulcan 2000 for? If you're a rider who loves old-school torque, timeless cruiser lines, and that unmistakable big bike feel, this is a machine that will deliver grin after grin. Whether you're doing solo cross-country trips or rolling up to your local bike night, you'll have something that turns heads, shakes the ground, and makes you smile every time you hit that starter button. If you're planning to ride 2 up, this bike's got the power to handle it effortlessly, and the new seat design will keep your passenger happy too. Add a windshield and bags, and you've got a capable touring rig. Strip it down, and you've got a mean boulevard bruiser. So, to sum it up, the 2025 Kawasaki Vulcan 2000 isn't about chasing trends or reinventing the wheel. It's about perfecting a proven formula: a massive torque, timeless cruiser style, modern refinements where it counts, and just enough tech to keep it safe and easy to live with. If that's what you're after, you owe it to yourself to swing a leg over this beast and feel what a real big bore cruiser is all about. That's all for today's deep dive on the 2025 Vulcan 2000. If you like this breakdown, hit that like button, and if you want more in-depth reviews, real-world ride impressions, and all things two wheels, Make sure you subscribe to Wheel Reverend and ring that bell so you never miss a ride. Drop a comment below. Would you pick the Vulcan 2000 over a Harley or an Indian? Let's hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, ride safe, and I'll see you in the next one.